Well everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the Samsung Galaxy A15 and compare it against the iPhone 13 and see which particular phone is the better one for you. Now I will definitely tell you between both of these devices, the A15 and the iPhone 13 are very different devices. The iPhone 13 came out in 2021. The A15 just came out like 2 months ago, but it's still very interesting to me how much better the iPhone 13 is in most ways than the Galaxy A15. Now if you want to pick up some phones I would recommend buying this year, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the same time. Now starting off with the outside, the iPhone 13 on the front has a 6.1 inch Super Retina XDR OLED display on it. And it's an overall pretty good panel. I felt like it was really good when it first came out, and it still is pretty, solid. It's 1170p, it's 60 Hz, so it's not anything crazy. But I do genuinely think it's a very, very good panel. It's a very good feeling and looking device. And I think it's a pretty good phone when it comes down to it. The Samsung Galaxy A15, on the other hand, is a bigger 6.5 inch Super AMOLED display. So it's a bigger panel. It's also basically it's 1080p. It's not as good of a display as the iPhone 13s, I would say, from a viewing angle perspective, but you are getting 90 Hz on that particular phone, which is actually pretty crazy. Having 90 Hz on like the cheapest Galaxy A phone right now is crazy. It's one of the cheapest Samsung Galaxy phones you can buy, and the fact that that one even has a 90 Hz panel now is so crazy, because even the iPhone 15 now still has a 60 Hz panel, which is so sad to see. So in a lot of ways, the A15 is better from the 90 Hz perspective, but I think the iPhone 13 is still kind of the better phone when it comes down to it. On the bottom, the A15 has a USB Type-C port, which is great to see. The iPhone 13 has a Lightning port there, still totally okay for the most part. On the sides, they're both kind of like flat sides too, which is kind of cool. I like that the newer phones do have flat sides. It's actually a really nice thing to see. But I think the iPhone 13 is still probably the better feeling one when it comes down to it. On the back side, the iPhone 13 has a glass back with a dual camera setup. The Galaxy A15 has kind of like a triple camera setup with a full-on plastic back. And when I feel both phones, definitely the iPhone 13 is the more premium feeling one. You're getting, glass on the back there. You're getting a better feeling phone. It feels heavier kind of for, the weight, the size that it is. And you are getting, IP certification on that as well. The Galaxy A15 is not getting you any sort of, IP certification there, which is actually kind of sad to see for the most part. From the outside perspective, the iPhone 13 kind of wins here, but the A15 has a nicer 90 Hz higher refresh rate if you want to count that, which you probably should. Camera-wise, the iPhone 13 had that dual camera setup, wide and ultra-wide camera. The Galaxy A15 has a wide, ultra-wide, and macro lens. I do think in every single way, the Galaxy A15 just isn't as good of a camera as something like the iPhone 13. The reason for this is because with the iPhone 13, you can film in resolutions like 4K at 60 on the front and the back of that particular phone. With something like the Galaxy A15, you can only do 1080p on the front and the back of that phone. You are getting a substantially better panel and better camera, capability, like on something like the iPhone 13 over the Galaxy, A15 right now. So that's kind of like another small minor thing to keep in mind. Again, it's not the biggest deal in the world or anything, for the most part, but that is genuinely something kind of important to kind of keep in mind. You are definitely going to be getting a better, camera here on the iPhone 13 once again than from something like the Galaxy A15. In terms of software longevity, this is another reason why the Galaxy A15 just maybe isn't as good as something like the iPhone 13. The 13 is going to be giving you a longer lasting phone on that particular phone than the A15 here. So once again, if I'm going to go ahead and buy a phone, I want it to go ahead and have as long of a longevity ahead of it, and with the Galaxy A15, that just really isn't going to be the case. Once again, you're going to be getting a longer lasting phone from something like the iPhone 13 here than from the A15 here. In terms of performance, the iPhone 13 is going to be giving you that Apple A15 body chip inside with 4GB of RAM, where the A15 is giving you the MediaTek Helios G99 chipset with 4, 6, or 8GB of RAM, and most models will have 4, mine has 4. And the thing I'll tell you from that perspective too is that with something like the Galaxy A15, it's not a terrible performing device, but it is a pretty bad performing phone when it comes down to it. It's going to be very slow, and a lot of different things you're going to throw at it. It's just going to be very, very slow and just not that great of an experience. If you are wanting somewhat of a better performing device, you are definitely going to be getting pretty much the better performing device from something like the from the iPhone 13 here than from the A15. I feel like with the iPhone 13, this isn't really that bad of a device for the most part. The A15 can still pretty much do what you want to do for the most part. It's going to be perfectly fine. But the iPhone 13 is going to be giving you a way better performance here in my opinion. So to kind of sum it up, what I'll definitely tell you, I definitely do think a device like the iPhone 13 is pretty much the better device in every single way. If I'm going to go ahead and recommend a device to people, I would probably recommend the iPhone 13 more so than the A15. I think the 15 is actually not even that bad, but if I'm going to recommend a phone, I don't want to recommend a phone that's going to already be outdated kind of when you buy it, and that might end up happening a little bit with the A15. So take it as you will, but that's kind of how I see this particular device, as of right now. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, help me so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.